I've seen things you people wouldn't believe. Attack ships on
Ever heard
fire.
of Blade Runner, Total Recall, Minority Report, The Man in the High Castle? These are all adaptations based on the masterworks of Philip K. Dick. PKD may be the most important science fiction author America has ever produced. Born in Chicago in 1929, Philip K. Dick became a prolific writer of speculative fiction, penning 44 novels and 121 short stories. His work has now been translated into over 25 different languages, as his stories have slowly garnered critical attention since his death in 1982. He has now come to be regarded as one of the godfathers of science fiction. PKD entertained ideas that in his time were considered wild and fantastic, but have now been adopted into mainstream scientific and literary thought.
We are living in a computer-programmed reality, and the only clue we have to it is when some variable is changed and some alteration in our reality occurs. We would have the overwhelming impression that we were reliving the present, déjà vu, perhaps in precisely the same way, hearing the same words, saying the same words. I submit that these impressions are valid and significant, and I will even say this: such an impression is a clue that at some past time point a variable was changed, reprogrammed as it were, and that because of this an alternative world branched off.
While the idea that we're all in a computer-programmed reality seems far-fetched, credible scientists and theoretical physicists have been seriously entertaining and developing compelling arguments for what is now known as simulation theory. It seems that PKD was far ahead of his time. There are several main themes that his writing tends to deal with. 1. What it means to be human in an increasingly mechanical and fractured world. 2. Metaphysics, Gnostic Christianity especially. 3. The global rise of capitalism and fiscal greed. 4. Altered states of consciousness. 5. What is reality as opposed to alternate or false realities, which of course plays into the last theme. Number 6. Alternate histories. So how does one tackle such a prolific body of work? His short fiction is incredibly compelling and just as strong as his longer pieces. One of his best short works is a story called The Hanging Stranger, with a very intriguing plot. The protagonist is shocked to find a stranger hanged in the center of town, but to his further dismay, no one seems to notice or even care. We eventually find out that nearly everyone around him has been replaced by aliens, and the hanged stranger was put there to see which humans they hadn't yet infected. Definitely some Cold War fears are being explored in this piece. Another great short story is We Can Remember It For You Wholesale. This story was used as the basis for the film Total Recall, starring Arnold Schwarzenegger. Douglas Quaid steps into a world which may or may not be real, with implanted memories and a super spy subplot too fun to pass up. Number 3. Minority Report. This was the basis for the film adaptation about pre-crime, using precognition to prevent crimes before they even happened. Aside from it being entertaining, this film raises serious moral implications about policing and crime that still resonate today. In addition to his short fiction, PKD has written numerous novels, all of which are worth exploring. Some examples of his best plots are: Number 1. Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep, written in 1968. Adapted into the Ridley Scott masterpiece, Blade Runner, it tells the story of a world brought to the brink of calamity by war and environmental destruction. Nearly all animals are extinct, and companies start building android simulacra of everything, even humans. Rick Deckard is a bounty hunter whose job is to retire rogue androids, which are banned from Earth, and are practically indistinguishable from real humans except for their lack of emotions. But the Rosen Corporation builds a new line of replicants capable of genuine emotional responses, which throws the whole world askew. Empathy is the key theme being explored in this work. Number 2, The Man in the High Castle, written in 1962. This fascinating Hugo Award-winning novel tells the alternate history of Germany and Japan winning World War II. America is divided along the Rockies, with Germany controlling the East and Japan controlling the West. Characters struggle to either fit in with their oppressors or join rebellious movements to repel them. The I Ching, an ancient Chinese oracular book, figures prominently in the story. In fact, PKD used the I Ching to help him write the novel, consulting the Oracle on various plot and character decisions. It is such a compelling story that it has now been adapted as a live-action series on Amazon. Number 3, A Maze of Death, written in 1970. 14 strangers find themselves on Delmak O, a dangerous planet where one by one these poor people meet gruesome deaths. The planet is largely unexplored, populated only by strange jelly creatures who reply cryptically. Deities can be directly appealed to, but may not really be listening. Mysteries abound on this bizarre planet where each character seems to perceive it slightly differently from one another. And it also contains one of the most delicious plot twists in all of PKD's works. Number 5, A Scanner Darkly, written in 1973. In this near-future America, nearly half the population has become addicted to a dangerous and powerful psychotropic drug called Substance D. Bob Arctor is an undercover narcotics agent trying to combat the drug problem while also becoming addicted to the substance and being asked by the Orange County Police Department to spy on himself. Bob must struggle to retain his own identity as he is embroiled in a much larger plot. This novel deals primarily with the dangers of psychotropic drug use and loss of personal identity, as well as the overreaching powers of a police state. It was turned into a visually stunning film by director Richard Linklater in 2006. One of the most faithful book adaptations ever brought to the big screen. It stars Keanu Reeves, Winona Ryder, Robert Downey Jr., and Woody Harrelson, and uses advanced rotoscoping to paint every cell of live action with animation. As you can see, the works of Philip K. Dick offer a myriad of strange and fascinating worlds to explore.